a live guest who's joining us now to decode, several aspects of this very crucial and delicate situation. I'm now joined by Ambassador Suresh K Goel, former ambassador. Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for joining us here on ET Now. Let me start by asking you about India's position on, this terror attack and how it responded through a raft of measures, a bevy of measures, and now Pakistan too has. Meanwhile, Pakistan is clearly denying its involvement in such attacks. How do you assess Islamabad's statement, which seems to be rather a poor copy of the Indian statement? What is Pakistan attempting to communicate via this statement, which does not even reflect their original thinking?
Well, clearly, I think this is playing by the book, really. After the attack in Pahalgam day before yesterday, it was expected that India would, that was something because of which Prime Minister Modi cancelled his visit to Saudi Arabia and came a day early to chair the CCS meeting. So clearly, what happened in Pahalgam was the cause of a serious disruption in India's security and India's relations with Pakistan. It was expected that India would be taking some major steps in terms of indicating or in terms of at least conveying the Indian mood to Pakistan after that act. Pakistan would obviously deny their culpability in the act. They would actually try and put all kinds of things really to mislead the Indian public and the Indian government. All that is expected. I think basically now what we need to see is where are we going to be going from here? And according to all indications that I'm seeing, for example, I'm told that Pakistan is stopping overflights over India. Pakistan has taken steps also in terms of controlling the border. People are getting back. They have captured one BSF Jawan also, I believe. So all kinds of things are happening, and they clearly indicate that situation is escalating. How far it is going to escalate is a matter of conjecture, and we need to keep a watch over it, number one. Number two, when the government of India, the party in power, BJP, when they call an all-party meet, this is again playing by the book. Whenever there is a serious development affecting Indian security and Indian foreign policy matters, particularly relations with the neighboring country, attempt is to get all the parties on board together. Indian foreign policy has worked by consensus, and that is what it is going to be really now. And I'm quite sure that essentially the meeting would convey its total support to what the government does really here. Obviously, the attempt will also be to get the government to reveal as much as it can on what it is going to be able to do in future. But again, there is something to be seen.
And that ambassador is going to be key. But what do you make of the two very critical developments that we're seeing? First is the all-party meeting, that it is happening. The opposition's response to it, the opposition, what are they going to demand? And very importantly, Ambassador, if you saw earlier in the day, we saw the foreign secretary met with envoys of over 20 plus countries. These were members of the G20 nations. What signal does that really send out? It's not something non-serious, right? So what do you anticipate India to do next? And what do you make of that meeting that transpired?
It is something very serious, obviously. And I remember that similar steps were also taken at the time of the Kargil war. The briefing was done to select countries also at the time of Pulwama. Whenever, as I mentioned before, whenever there is a serious development which has the potential of disrupting our security matrix, and which is the potential of really having a serious impact on our own foreign relations, such kind of briefings and the all-party meetings are held. Now, in this particular case, when these meetings are being held, there can be one or two really conclusions or expectations. Number one is that the diplomatic community would be expecting that, or would be their own assessment would be that the situation is going to escalate and the government of India is serious about dealing with Pakistan on this matter. To what extent and through what measures? Again, nobody can say really here, but it indicates the seriousness with which we are dealing with it. That's the most important part of it all, really. But otherwise,
Absolutely.
I would tend to
Absolutely.
believe that we are preparing ourselves for whatever steps need to be taken. I don't want to really use other words, but whatever steps need to be taken, we are preparing ourselves for this. And
Yes.
therefore, we are keeping both the international
Okay.
community and the Indian political spectrum on board in that eventuality. Yes.
Right, and that's a very important point, sir, that you have made. And I want to ask you specifically about, when you say that there's going to be escalation in all likelihood, could India explore the option of limited airstrikes? Is that a valid option that could be exercised in this context?
Uh, I really would not be able to say anything simply because I'm not privy to what the government is thinking. But the as I said earlier, it is clear that all options are on table.
Right. So when you say that all options are on table, sir, I want to ask one more follow-up question. How long does it really take for IF to prepare for a military limited offensive, a limited airstrike?
How can I say that really? That's a matter of military preparation and how they are.
Right.
I really wouldn't be able to make
Okay.
any, and I would
Yes.
not want to make any guess on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So let's now understand, Pakistan's statement. I mean, a whole host of measures that were announced late last night. There was also the big decision on the abeyance of Underwaters Treaty
Yes.
Agreement, to which Pakistan said that any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water belonging to Pakistan, the usurpation of the rights of lower riparian, will be considered as an act of war. Now, those are very serious words when you say that that is considered as an act of war. How do you expect Pakistan to take up this matter? Will they be taking up this matter further, or will they be waiting for India to sort of take further action on this matter, or perhaps to go back on this move, given that it's been a no-go zone since the 1960s, but now that it's happened, it does affect a certain part of Pakistan's economy as well. So how do you expect Pakistan to act on that particular issue?
See, two or three things. I mean, the government of India has announced that they will be suspending the Indus Water Treaty. But please do keep in mind that a river is not like a canal or like a tap in the bathroom that whenever you want to stop the water, you just turn the tap off and the water stops. It doesn't happen that way. You need to have the whole system of barrages, dams, and things like that to divert water into certain directions. And all those things take time. I do not know if we have the whole system in place to stop the water or not, but it's a major, major operation. And I think basically what we should really look at this announcement as is that India is prepared to go to the extent of stopping what is the most important lifeline for Pakistan, even if it takes time. But we are prepared to do that, even though there could be many opinions that we are whether this action will be in accordance with the international law or not. But by the time they resolve whether it is in accordance with international law or not, we have made our intention very clear. We consider that what Pakistan has done deserves this kind of a response. I just want to make one thing here very clear that you see, we have noticed time and again in the past that whenever we have situation of peace prevailing in Jammu and Kashmir or anywhere else, or whenever we see some kind
Yes.
of a progress or some kind of a development in relations with Pakistan, something happens. It happens all the time. It has happened during the time when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. Kargil happened. It has happened again when Modi ji became the Prime Minister. It happened during Manmohan Singh's time. All the time, somehow the army steps in and spoils the thing. They have always acted the role of a spoiler in development of relations
Absolutely.
between India and Pakistan right from 1948. It's not the new thing. When the Kabilis came into Jammu and Kashmir, they came with the encouragement of the Pakistani army. Pakistani army has had the attitude right from the day one when Pakistan was created. It was not
Right.
Hindu Musliman. It was mostly the Punjabi attitude that something has been taken away from us and we need to avenge. Revenge against the Indian army, revenge against Indian state is what actually drives them. They're taught in their
Absolutely.
military academy that India is their enemy number one. It has become part of their whole psychic thinking. So
Yes,
when you
absolutely.
have an institution working along those lines, the only way you can stop that is to degrade and destroy that institution. And I think our message is very clear that Pakistani
Absolutely.
state and Pakistani army has to understand that enough is enough and they cannot go with this kind of behavior all the time at the expense of India.
At the expense of India. It's very laughable when they talk about peace. In fact, they have mentioned about, wanting peace in the statement also, Ambassador, that's been put out earlier in the day. Well, on that note, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your perspectives on this evolving situation. Well, the all-party meeting, ladies and gentlemen, is currently going on. Members of the opposition, the current ruling dispensation, including the top union ministers, are currently present at that meeting. This is perhaps to communicate India's position to opposition parties, the kind of action, the diplomatic action that India has taken over the past few hours. But we'll be getting you all the latest updates as and when that meeting gets over. But in the meantime,